Welcome back. Today we want to talk about the 4 steps for handling a lowball job offer in a down economy.
Right. We're really grappling with this right now.
Absolutely. I mean, lowball is something that many companies will risk doing, but in a down economy, you can feel like you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
So when fewer jobs are being filled, then the ones that are filled are really super competitive. So it's more likely for a company to make a lowball offer because they know that if one person declines it, that there'll be others,
There's a
many,
mass.
many
Yeah.
others who will take it. It's also more likely for the candidate to feel like, I'm just so lucky to get anything. And this is more pronounced if you are someone who's taking a career break,
Yes.
someone who's pivoting, or in many cases, somebody who's doing both.
Right.
But it doesn't make it right.
Right. And so we're going to go through 4
Yeah.
steps that we really feel you should be prepared to take
right.
when you're in this position. So
Right.
the first is to know your worth. You are valuable, you are worthy of this work, and you need to know that.
Employers are smart to hold out for the right candidate.
Right. Of course.
But if you have made it to the interview process over let's say there are 2,000 applicants and you're one of 50 that are getting interviewed, they already know you're a good candidate. So it's beholden on them to attract you and to pay you fairly. Right. And so going into it, that mindset, like, I deserve to be there. I'd have already beat out 1,950
Right.
people to be here.
Right.
So having that mindset, really knowing your worth, is the good foundation.
Yeah. And you're shopping too. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
you're
absolutely. Love when I say is, I'll tell our students to say, when you're interviewing, kind of drop in, I'm in the process with a number of other employers right now, but I'm just so excited with what I'm seeing today that I'm really putting you at the top.
Yeah.
Being in the process can be as simple as
application out.
Yeah, exactly. So be confident using that language, be confident knowing your worth and knowing that just being there means that you've already really cleared a lot of hurdles.
You earned a seat.
Mhm.
You earned a seat. Okay. So this is really important. Timing is everything in these particular situations.
So we hear this on every single call we have with our students, with graduates, with our private clients. The recruiter in the first interview wants to know how much you want to make.
Yeah.
You are not talking
Having that
money
conversation there.
with the first recruiter who's screening you.
No.
You don't know enough about the job. You don't know enough about the role or the organization or anything to be naming a number.
Right. And I just want to say, we actually have a video that walks you through
with scripting.
Specifically what you should be saying depending on who in the interview process you're talking with when it comes to salary. So you're going to want to go look that up if you're
a good deep
about that.
Really good advice because it's a deep dive. But in high level, you're not negotiating until you've received the offer. So until the employer says, Kelly, we want to make you an offer, that's when Kelly knows she's the number one candidate of those 50. That's when she has leverage. She doesn't have leverage in the early processes. Honestly, at the early process, the 10 people I'm interviewing.
Well, you're screening. That's the whole job of that person is to screen you out so that they have less people that.
Right. And so once I've got that smaller pile of 10, you're all pretty good. If Kelly starts telling me she wants more money, I'm going to say, I'm not going to bother her because these other 9 aren't asking me for more money yet. I haven't had a chance to realize that she's the one I really want. So you wait. You do not ever talk money until the employer has made you their top choice, because that's when you have leverage. And make your counter offer in person. You do not do this via email. So it has to be done on a phone call or a Zoom call. And it's just something like, Kelly, thank you so much. I'm thrilled. I'd love to get in a quick call with you just to talk through a few questions I have. Don't tell them what you're going to tell them in the email. It's too easy for them to blow you off. So timing is everything. And then your audience too. Yeah. You're not having this discussion with the first screening recruiter. You're having it with the person who made you the offer. So even if the recruiter is the one that emails you to tell you have the offer, they're not the one that made the decision.
Exactly.
The decision was made by the hiring manager. So one of our favorite lines is, never take a no from someone who doesn't have the power to give you the yes. So that's the person you want to go to.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So the next one is that you're not going to let them off the hook because maybe they can't, maybe their hands really are tied.
Yes. Right.
When it comes to the financials of this. Right.
Right.
However, you can be prepared to not let them off the hook. And here's how.
So the first is always go back and ask for more money. Even if they tell you, Kelly, I wish I could give you more, but this is all I can give you. And then you see, ask to talk, you think about the offer, and then you come back, you still ask for more money because you never know. If you can't, if that's just not an option, as Kelly said, then think about what else you could get in lieu of cash compensation. It depends on your personal priorities, but one of them is more vacation time.
Yeah.
Ava on our graduate call, taking a job that she doesn't really necessarily want,
However,
but it's an entry into a company, and she's asking for like 70% more vacation time. I think she'll get it. What I really love is title. Title can really help accelerate you beyond where you are right now, both in that organization, but elsewhere. So maybe you're asking for more title. If it's an in the office job, maybe you're asking for a nicer office. If you're going to spend 5 days a week there, like many companies are making us do,
parking is being paid for.
Exactly.
Or,
all those little things. Another one could just be more flexibility of your schedule. Maybe it's a 3-2 company. You're going to ask it to be a 2-3. Maybe it's a small company and they can't afford to pay you more in cash, but they can give you more equity if it's a startup. So you're not thinking of these on the fly, though. As Kelly said, you are going into this meeting prepared.
Yes. And again, just to really sell that home, this is when you have the most leverage.
That's the only time you have leverage. Exactly. And you have a lot of it then.
Okay. And if your counter offer is then refused, what are we doing?
4 steps. We're willing to walk away. This is the hardest thing.
Yeah, I know.
Now, in some cases, you can't walk away. If you have a financial imperative, like you've got to put food on the table, then you're going to take that job. You're still going to ask for more. If you can't get more money, you're going to ask for those other things. And you might have to settle. And that's okay, because if your top priority right now is food on the table, then taking a job, even if it's a lowball offer, is a reasonable decision.
But it doesn't mean that you can't maximize your time once you're in there. Really looking at where do you want to be working? How are you going to advance yourself? So
what other teams could I be looking at? Another thing to consider is that if maybe you don't have the financial need, but like in Ava's case, using her as an example, she wants to work at this company. She's not been able to get in at the level or in the field that she wants. This is going to get her in, right? So it's giving her an opportunity to pivot to her dream role in that organization or another. So there are factors where you might not walk away, but you have to be willing to walk away if these other factors aren't at play, if it's not a financial need or a career need.
If you're not winning in some way.
Because the other thing is, if you accept a lowball offer and it's clearly based on your research, you know it's a lowball offer, they know it's a lowball offer, you're probably always going to be underpaid in this organization. So those are the 4 steps.
Yes, the 4 steps to handling a lowball offer in a down economy. If you liked what you heard today, you can like and subscribe. If you want to learn more about us and our programming, you can visit us at www.preparetolaunchu.com. Thanks.